Hi guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're here looking at Conan the Barbarian, number 144 by Marvel Comics. But before we do that, we have the World Fantasy Tarot, The Mummy. And this is I love this deck. I love these cards. I'm sure we're going to get Dracula, or at least a vampire, very soon. This is the Seven of Wands. I don't know what is there? Cups, Pentacles, Wands, and Rods, and Cups, Pentacles, Rods, and Swords. I don't know. I don't know what the tarot suits are. Anyhow, Conan the Barbarian, and I should know too, I think this is the second or third deck we've done. Conan the Barbarian, 144. This cover is a little misleading in that Conan is fighting this giant monster with a massive golden sword, but he doesn't have a beautiful blonde as his companion in this episode. He's stuck with some dude named Valen. And this is a continuation story. I had to throw away an issue today. As you can see, these are really beat up. This Conan set that I've got right now is really beaten up. And there was it was almost like a bite was taken out right here, like a perfect, almost circular chunk. And the bugs had gotten into it. You can see some of them gotten in here. And, you know, it sucks that some people don't really care about comics, but that's the way the world is. Again, this is Bruce Jones, John Buscema, Ernie Chan on inks, and still Janice Chang and George Russos. Janice Chang on letters, George Russos on colors. So the team is still together with some adjustments. I don't read the dialogue to you guys, obviously, because, well, my eyes for one thing, and also because it's just, I've tried to watch some of those videos where the guys almost make a motion comic, and it's really hard. I've never gotten into it that much. I kind of appreciate the commentary ones a little bit more. So that's what we're doing here. Just looking at the art. This is the sort of thing you can just throw on while you're drawing or cleaning the house or whatever you're doing, you know? Yeah, so Conan the Barbarian, Blade and the Beast. And so this monster can breathe fire, but Conan is Conan, so in order to get through the story, he can't be burnt alive. He either has to dodge it or run, and that's exactly what they do. Run. This art is you know, again, we have Ernie Chan on the inks, and as I mentioned in the last one, it felt like John Buscema's art had leveled up, and now we're back to where it was. So when he inks his own work, it is significantly better. The inks are much lighter. The other inkers are a little bit heavier in their work, but anyhow, we get trope number one. Conan throws a sword, hits the monster in the shoulder. It's quite a throw too. I mean, you know, it's not a spear, but anyhow, bubble yum, bubble gum. The monster smashes into some stalactites and wrecks the cave, knocking down all this rubble on top of Conan and Valen and trapping them beneath it. Now here we get a bit of writing that's a little bit overly dramatic and not something Roy Thomas would have done. It's not just overly dramatic, it's overly complimentary to Conan. And he tries to, his character is well written, but this character of Valen is a little bit of a suck up or a sycophant. And most men aren't like that with each other. So, you know, whatever. He says, there's no way you can move this rock, Conan. Only a god could move it. And then Conan moves it and rescues him and frees him. And now remember, John Buscema drew all this first before anything was written down. And I have come to accept the fact that that is just how comics are done. It's not right. Should be writer-artist in the same fucking room as far as I'm concerned. Like Andy Hartnell and Jeff Campbell did Danger Girl. J. Scott Campbell. Calling him Jeff like I fucking know him. Anyhow, here we go. This is it. Conan frees Valen. And Valen, this is a very short comic in that there's a bit of action in the beginning, a massive bit of exposition backstory where we hear how this sword came to be. Now, I don't know what could have happened in the last one that all of this was skipped, But remember how I said that they're being extra complimentary to Conan? So this monster has destroyed a village, and they went looking for anyone who could help them defeat it. They got to the edge of Samaria and found a wizard who told them he couldn't provide them a hero, but he could provide them the hero's tool, and magically crafted this massive Titan sword. They call it the Titan sword, which is kind of cool. But this guy who wielded it was killed by the dragon. Now, this is like they say, like he defeated the dragon, and then his statue stood at the dragon at the cave, the mouth of the dragon's cave. But if he got defeated, why? It's not clear why they'd build a statue. If he had driven they does say that he drove the dragon back into the cave, but died, and then they built the statue. So now Conan's got the sword, and it's not quite where we are yet. This is still backstory. These guys went out looking for Conan and found him. I gotta look at that really quick, because that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So I read this and I forgot it, because it was kind of stupid. So this guy, Valen, has met Conan. Conan's explained to him that he's Sumerian. Only a Sumerian can handle the sword. Valen drugs Conan's rabbit or hair. And now now I get it. So he drugs his hair, like his hair? No. He drugs his food, and then he runs back to his village and gets the captain of the guard to come and, I don't know if I gotta look at this again because it still doesn't make sense. So when these guys went back out to the camp where Conan was, the drugged rabbit hadn't worked its way through his system yet, and so he was still awake and capable of fighting. But the adrenaline accelerated the drugs in the system, and he passed out. And that's when now how did they, oh yeah. So Valen pushed him into a pit. No, this guy, Johel, pushed him down into the pit where the monster was, and Valen jumped down after him with the sword. That's, what is that, 3-4 pages of exposition? Like, that's a lot to explain how they got there. And now they're working together like they're friends, right? The monster still has the sword stuck in his side, in his shoulder. And the monster is climbing up the cliff face to attack the villagers. This guy does not escape in time. The villagers, man, they get roasted. Conan, not so much. But, Conan is the main character. The villagers are essentially Star Trek red shirts. This book, I didn't count the pages, but they skipped the letters page. This book may actually have more than the typical 17 Conan comic book pages. I don't think I've ever seen a John Buscema Conan comic that was 22. They were always 17. And who cares? It's worth it. It's still good. I was watching Bosch Fonstein today, and he was going through Daredevil Born Again. Man, that's amazing too. David, not Michelini, the guy working with Frank Miller, and I don't remember his name. Anyhow, the monster burns a bunch of guys. He knocks the sword out of his chest, and continues through the forest toward the village. This guy picks up the sword. That's Joel. He's the commander of the captain of the village guard, whatever. Conan and Valen are still digging their way out of the cave where they fought the monster previously. They're trying to get out through the cave, and they find this giant wall of glass, or it looks like glass. It's quartz. It's quartz rock. And Conan can hear it vibrating. He can hear, like, the quartz is very echoey. That's part of why it works for clocks and watches and whatnot. So Conan picks up a massive stalactite and smashes through the quartz. And, this is a Conan comic. It's a lot of pages. So they get out. They're in a river. Conan has to rescue this guy, Valen, who can't swim. Now, okay, so this tells me Bruce Jones grew up in the city. City kids can't swim. There's a lot of shit city kids can't do. But you should be able to swim. And Bruce Jones, I'm guessing, is from New York City and probably knows kids who can't swim. I met people in the Marine Corps who couldn't swim. How can you be in the Marine Corps and not be able to swim? The world is a strange place. These guys are all dead from the monster. And again, this dialogue is so... Now, the events are one thing, okay? But the dialogue is equally forgettable. None of these events really have Conan at the center of them. He's getting them out of a cliff, he's getting them out of the cave or whatever, but all these people die and he's not involved. Like, he's a second... Now, John Buscema drew this, but Conan is still kind of a secondary character. This is, of course, the wizard who explains that as long as Conan is pure Sumerian, that he'll be able to defeat the monster. And they go looking for him again. It's not a hard issue, but it's just not a good issue. It's not a great issue. The monster has burnt the entire village now, and they see another pillar of smoke rising in the distance. And that is where Johel has the sword and the shield and is defending the remainder of the villagers from this giant dragon that is trying to burn him alive. He's blocking it with the shield, but how much of that can the shield take before it gets really hot? And it doesn't matter because he almost gets blown off the cliff that where Valen pushed Conan down into recently. Conan catches this guy, Johel, takes the sword from him. And now also there's quite a bit about this. Conan's dialogue is always, in this issue, it's a little bit brusque, a little bit bullying. And it's not necessary that it had to be that, but it certainly is. He's kind of a shit talker in this one. And the shield falls. He rescues Johel. He takes the sword against the monster, who immediately starts breathing fire at him. And he splits the fire in twain with this magic sword from the wizard. Cuts the dragon's knee. Dodges another fiery breath. Smashes the ground. And drops the dragon, because he's out on a precipice, right? He's out on a peninsula, and the dragon falls up that same cliff that he climbed up earlier and is skewered by stalactites like Wolverine with that tree in Logan. Now that the dragon is dead, the sword no longer has any power. He returns it to these people as a memento, and that's it. That's the end of the issue. And Letters page will return next issue. So, New Mutants. I should know who was drawing this. Says Bob McCloud. But, yeah. And that's it. All right. Let's count the pages. Hey guys, I'm John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. I'm so proud of these books. If you're into fiction, fantasy... Eventually, they're never going to be full comics because they're 26 hours of audiobooks. That's a lot. That would be, I could probably do, I don't know what I would crush these down to, but it would be, you can't do a book an hour. That would be 13 issues. That won't work. It'd have to be a book a half an hour. I bet I could do it in 50 issues, both of these books. 22 pages, a page a minute. And if you've got 13, it's 26. That could work. 26 episodes of television. That'd be nice. Today's, oh wait, let's count how many pages of art we've got in this one, because I want to know. So we've got the splash page, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22-page comic by John Buscema. It's not his best work, which I feel is sacrilegious saying that, but it's the truth. It's 22 pages, but it's not his best work. And today's conflicted card is about Sebastian, who knows Gordon and Sarah, and they are a couple. And he is, so in the new world, he's single. And would you try and have a relationship in the new world. I don't know. Maybe that guy would. I don't think I would. I think I'm past romantic relationships in this lifetime. To be perfectly honest, I'm kind of done with it. I found that at this age, women become a lot less trustworthy than they were when they were younger, and a lot more aggressively cruel. So I don't have time for that. I don't want to argue with someone. I don't want to have a relationship where you argue with people. And people, I've noticed that. How do I phrase this? So in all mammals, as they grow up, siblings, like litter mates, fight, right? And they've seen this with even adult lions, right? Lion cubs and adult lions. The adult lion will let the cubs beat him 2 out of 3 times, or they'll stop. They'll stop playing. Like the big brothers will do that too. That I don't think happens with people. People don't permit themselves to be beaten up. I mean, a dad and his kids, sure. But I was a big brother, and I did not like being attacked by my younger siblings, and that never went well for either of us. And I like it even less in romantic relationships. I've known women who do it just for fun, for drama, because they're bored. And so I've had 3 relationships, done a lot of dating, and I'm pretty much done with it. I don't have time for it anymore. I don't get anything from it. I mean, I suppose the sex is great, but it always seemed like it was more work than it was worth. Not always, but lately it has. So I don't think I would go in for a new relationship myself. But I'm perfectly happy out here doing this. I'm living my Shangri-La. They say living your best life. That's kind of retarded. I suppose if you have enough money, but it's not about the money. It's about the quality of your day. And I hope you guys are all keeping warm. It's been pretty cold today. Been pretty cold the last few days. And the quality of your time. Things feel a little bit sideways for everyone. But I feel like, I don't know, I'm doing what's right for me. And that's been pretty good. So I can't complain. All the mistakes that happen are my problem. It's not anybody else. There's no shifting blame. There's no placing blame. There's no, you didn't do this fast enough. You didn't do that fast enough. You're ignoring me. You're not paying attention to me. All those sorts of things. That's great when you're young and you grow older together. It'd be great to be in a relationship with someone I've known for 20 years, but I don't want to meet anybody new. And I don't know why I'm even talking about this. It's just a weird conflicted card, so I'm not conflicted about this. I'm perfectly happy with the situation I'm in. But that doesn't change that fact that things are kind of weird the last few days. The whole thing about the left, like, it was the left that loved Tesla so much because it meant that they didn't have to interact with the public at the gas station. They didn't have to bump into the undesirables, and now they're out there burning those cars down and burning down dealerships. So it's also interesting how they define their violence as protest and white protests as violence. They even say silence is violence. Basically, the left and their janissaries have this approach that if you do not get in line behind them, you are evil. Whereas we don't really do that. I don't really believe they're evil as much as misguided, selfish, lazy, and undisciplined. That's what I see in the left. And that's all Jewish-driven shit. And I'm not happy with the world the way it is right now. I love being me. I don't like the world. Los Angeles is Los Angeles, everything is, I don't even know what I'm out here talking about. Everything is so sideways today. It's a bad Conan issue. Freezing cold. Haven't written in a while. Haven't drawn in a while. Right now I'm doing quite a bit of work to maintain my residence. So, been packing up skateboards. I'm gonna sell about a dozen skateboards. I'm gonna keep this one though. This is my new sci-fi deck. I'm going to keep this one. The zeros and the hookups are going. Hookups are turning out to be the most valuable resale. Zeros don't really have much resale value, but the hookups with the girls, those are going for pretty good. Almost what I paid for them. So I wouldn't sell them if I didn't have to. And what else is going on? I don't know. This is weird. I feel like this is a not a low effort video, but I hope everything is going well for you guys. I hope you're doing good work. I hope you're having fun. I've got my surgery for my eye is scheduled the first week of April. So that's been scheduled for a couple weeks. I was thinking about going through that with my insurance, but they were assholes. The VA is actually, in the VA is, you get all these horror stories about the VA. They had better equipment. They had more interested and more concerned doctors. My insurance company had very few people with very little time and very minimal equipment. Now, maybe that's because they're so good at what they do that they can, it's second nature to them. But I don't know. I had an appointment on Monday. I was supposed to get a appointment to go see the surgery center and haven't heard from them since. I called them. I talked to them on Tuesday and they said, oh, the girls will process that, meaning the front desk girls. Health insurance is run completely by the secretaries, by the support staff. And you can't talk to them. You can't, that's why that guy got shot, right? That healthcare CEO. So the entertainment industry does similar things. There's lots of ways to gatekeep things. And that I do love so much that the internet has blown open a lot of gates, especially for knowledge, especially for information. It's a lot easier to reach people too, but you can learn almost anything you want to learn. So that's really, I think, the most incredible thing about our world right now. However, we've got this situation where there's all these false divides. It's divide and conquer, right? It's the rulers keeping people occupied with racism, sexism, politics. As long as they've got white people fighting each other, they must be so happy because 90% of the left is self-hating white people. Now, what I don't understand is why we're not seeing a lot more self-deletions amongst those people. If they really believed that they were the problem, they were the cancer of history, just off yourself. Just get out, Maybe they feel that if they destroy white countries, white people feel if they destroy white countries, they'll be doing more for the good of the planet. It's a lot of brainwashing that's gone on in this country, and I don't know whether to blame the brainwashers or the brainwashed. They're equally guilty. Every victim, every sucker is an equal player in his... When I got scammed last summer, that was as much my fault as anything else. It was greed. I wanted to make money doing little as possible, and I thought I had an opportunity to do that. And when it became clear it was a scam, it was as much my fault as theirs. I bought into it. No one forced me. No one held a gun to my head, So that's the world we live in right now. The only time you get the truth from anyone is if they have nothing to gain from the conversation. Anyone who has something to gain is lying because that's the culture we live in. Luckily, now this is why I'm so happy I chose this career path, because this is truth. This is about as honest as you get in the modern world. People who are doing politics is downstream from culture, while art is upstream from culture. Art is the very top. Without artists, you don't have anything worth buying. It's that simple. So I hope you guys have found your art, whatever it is, whether it's illustration, music, athletics, skating is an art, kung fu, martial arts, jiu-jitsu. I hope you're doing something awesome. I hope you're not frustrated in your life. I hope you're having a great time. This is a bummer of an episode. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better. See you guys then.